To introduce our next honoree, let me introduce Dr. Sandra Hernandez, the CEO of the California Healthcare Foundation.
Thank you, Alex. Good evening, everybody. It's an incredible pleasure to be here in person and to be able to honor the people that we're going to honor tonight and have been honoring tonight. I want to congratulate you, Jim, on an extraordinary run at the Bay Area Council. Always been a good friend and a colleague, and congratulations to you and your team. Really, an amazing job, beautiful night. And Mary, you know, they always give the hard jobs to women, so chairing the Bay Area Council in the middle of a pandemic, hats off to you. Really, really well done job. It's really an incredible honor to introduce our next inductee to the Hall of Fame, Bay Area Council Hall of Fame, Jim Herbert. I've known Jim in a number of different capacities, met him originally in a civic philanthropic role, where he briefly served on the board of the San Francisco Foundation with me. And then over the last decade, really have had the enormous pleasure of participating as part of the community incorporation that Jim has built over the last 36 years at First Republic Bank. Jim is not somebody who in any way, shape, or form seeks fame, and therefore I give a very special appreciation to the committee who identified Jim, because over the last 36 years since he first started the bank, a block from where the headquarters of that bank is today, he has built it into a corporation and a bank that serves people with privilege, considers it a privilege to serve people. And really, it's a bank that has grown to one of the 20 largest banks in the United States. It is the largest lending organization to small businesses, to not-for-profits, done a tremendous amount of work in affordable housing, and has really done it in Jim's way, which is to say, be humble, work hard, and most importantly of all, do the right thing. That is who Jim is. It is also the culture that he has built in this extraordinary organization that is First Republic Bank. And really, he as an individual, the bank and its entire workforce, Jim and the bank has hired 1,300 odd people during the middle of the pandemic, stood up a paycheck protection program virtually overnight to support small businesses during the middle of the pandemic. And really, the culture in which this organization works and the way that this bank has grown has been really in Jim's way. And of all of the attributes that I would offer to Jim, besides integrity and strategic intelligence and vision, he's also just an extraordinarily humble individual with an extraordinary family. And you feel that, live that at the bank, where I've had the privilege of being on the board for about the last decade or so. He is somebody, as I said, doesn't seek fame, but is very worthy of it. So ladies and gentlemen, please watch the video. Congratulations, Jim.
Jim Herbert personifies the entrepreneurial spirit of the Bay Area, the belief that anything is possible if you work hard and stay humble. Since Jim and his wife Cecilia arrived here in 1978, he has founded 2 banks, including First Republic, and presided over 3 highly successful IPOs. He has built First Republic organically into the 14th largest bank by market capitalization in the U.S. and the 2nd largest state-chartered bank headquartered in California, all from a single office in San Francisco 36 years ago. Today, First Republic has 82 offices, over $170 billion in bank assets, and over $250 billion in wealth management assets. Jim's success and the sustainable success of First Republic has been based on a few corporate business principles. Chief among them, culture always wins, and values drive results, year in and year out. Values such as do the right thing, provide extraordinary service, respect the team, grow, and have fun support the bank's spirit of entrepreneurialism that encourages all colleagues to take chances and never stop innovating.
The real story of First Republic is exceptional service. Exceptional service delivered by exceptional people all the time, every day, to every client. We have products, but all banks have products. Our products are undifferentiated, generally speaking. They're good, but they're undifferentiated. What's differentiated is the people and their passion, their caring for clients, and the service they deliver. And that's it.
The Bay Area's magic, its economic innovation, vitality, and diversity has served the bank extraordinarily well. Over 3,500 employees are based in the Bay Area, accounting for more than half of First Republic's workforce. The inclusiveness and diversity of the team has always been a competitive advantage for the bank.
We take good care of people. But what we do, among other things, in order for them to take good care of clients, is we really empower them. We empower them to take responsibility, but also to act. You know, everybody's going to make a mistake occasionally. We all do. I make several a day. So it's really not a big deal. It's the empowerment and the sense of safety to take opportunity and help the client.
Meritocracy is part of the DNA of First Republic Bank. If Jim and the senior management team were not wed to the notion that great people should be hired to be their highest and best selves, then I don't think the bank would have been able to achieve the kinds of growth and returns that have been emblematic to the organization, to the culture for all these years.
Jim understands that home ownership and affordable housing are powerful drivers of social progress and economic prosperity. In the Bay Area, First Republic has made almost $30 billion in real estate loans to individuals and families. In 2020 alone, the bank directed $3.7 billion in lending and investment capital to underserved communities. As leaders, Jim believes we can energize communities through civic engagement, both professionally and personally. That's why First Republic banks more than 1,900 nonprofits in the Bay Area, a source of pride for the team.
We focus on nonprofits for a number of reasons. I would note, by the way, that nonprofits are about 30% of our business banking. So it's a very big part of our business and our focus. We focus on the arts a lot, but the number one focus we have is education. I think we all know that the real inflection point in an opportunity for any one family is the education of their children.
Jim personally lives social responsibility through his philanthropy and services on the board of numerous nonprofit organizations. The accomplishments of Jim Herbert and First Republic far exceed any words that can be used to describe them.
First Republic, as a banking business, is actually not in the banking business. It's in the service business. Taking care of clients leads directly to shareholder value. The relationship between the first one and the second one is not accidental, it's causative. That really is the key to the success of the enterprise. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. It's such an honor to be here, and I appreciate this so much. Congratulations to Bay Area Council on its 75th or 76th, I guess, anniversary. My father was around. He would have advised me, I'm sure, to never follow a Nobel laureate. even video. It's a pleasure to be here, and I would note, by the way, that the Klamath, I think is how they pronounce it, ferry was the source of It's a Privilege to Serve You. We did that on that boat with Landor. So hopefully it works as well for you as it has for us. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm joined by my wife of 46 years. She's the one in the picture, and she's still with me, thank heavens. Let me take an opportunity to briefly share just a couple of observations as a founder of a couple of successful businesses here in the Bay Area, and 2 banks in my case. I founded the first bank in Sunnyvale in 1980. Everybody worried about inflation. We made home loans at 20% in 1981. It did function, but it's not the way it ought to be. 2 key lessons from that first bank were really the Bay Area is very receptive to new ideas, new organizations, startups of all kinds. Number 2, nothing is actually more important than client service if you're going to build a good business. And that, I think, applies to every enterprise, be it profit or nonprofit. In starting First Republic in 1985, we set out to dream a little bigger, and it's paid off nicely. Founded First Republic with 9 people, $8 million in capital, and a simple premise: deliver exceptional client service, and growth will follow. I was joined very fortuitously by Catherine August DeWilde, who's here tonight. We're still partners. Catherine is president of the bank, and quite frankly, it wouldn't have happened without her. First Republic now operates in, you saw, 9 or 10 urban markets across the country, 6,300 colleagues or so. More than half are here, and that is by design, by origin, but also by design. This is an extraordinary place we all are blessed to live. It has great talent, it has great diversity, it has great energy, it has an ecosystem that never stops, and we find it to be a place that we would continue to invest in, basically forever. It's extraordinary. I will say it's a long ways from Coshocton, Ohio, where I grew up. We've grown about 20% a year for 25 years at least. Wealth management's grown about 30% a year, and the share price has done well. It's outperformed the S&P considerably. But I think the main thing is that if you have an integrity of enterprise and you deal with clients the way they ought to be dealt with, the way you would want to be dealt with, I think everything else happens. We believe that banks can play a particular role in a community. They have clearly money and resources, but they also have potential for leadership. They can be the tipping point on a project. We've done a number of things here. We were the first lender in the Presidio to Tides Foundation. Took 9 months to get the National Parks Association to realize that they needed to give them longer than a 2-year concession in order to have a loan, but it worked out. And we've done a number of things. We recently financed the new Bose Center here in the city. You can build infrastructure, but you can also be the leading party, and we think that's an obligation, actually, that we have. We've believed in a diverse workforce from the beginning. We can always improve it, but we operate with about 50%, 47% women from the beginning. Actually, our starting workforce was that way. In 95, I think we were about 55 to 60% women. We have Chairman's Hall of Fame. There are 8 members of it that are the people who've been with us the longest. 7 are women. So it has worked out very, very well. We're also 49% colleagues of color. We speak more than 50 languages in the bank. I would say that mix is actually the key to the success. It's the key to the success. We have so many different ideas in the room. The other key to that and making it work is to make sure it's safe to speak up. And that's a bigger challenge in some ways than getting the right folks around the table. We owe a great deal of gratitude to the Bay Area. It's a magical, innovative place, and we try to reciprocate as best we can. The Bay Area inspired something that we've done recently, which is kind of fun. We created First Republic's Founders Fund Index, which is a stock index, and now a fund, based on all U.S. public companies that are founder-led or influenced. Interestingly enough, over 1/4 of all such companies in that index are here in the Bay Area. Pretty amazing. I would note the index outperforms the S&P rather nicely. In closing, the Bay Area's future is very bright. We have a lot of challenges. We all have to pull together and solve those issues. But the entrepreneurship, the innovation, the ecosystem, the receptivity to new ideas, we just saw a wonderful example of that, has never been greater, I don't think. I want to thank the Bay Area Council for this great honor. I'm truly humbled. Thank you very much.
So we're going to have a brief question and answer from Sandra and Jim. I'm interested to hear some of the questions. Please.
So Jim, they were talking a lot about diversity and inclusiveness, your comments, the video. You've been doing this for 35 years. Built the bank, throughout the bank leadership today, incredible gender diversity all across the bank, and a real sense of the bank is better by all the diversity that you have put value into and built. I just wonder, where did that come from? How did you, I mean, this was before ESG and before how many women are on your board and that kind of thing. Where did the value and understanding about that as a strategic differentiator come from?
The truth is, I don't really know, but I had some very, very good experiences early on. I guess it started probably for me around, as Alex indicated earlier, gender diversity. But I got lucky enough to marry a very special woman who was one of the very early graduates of the Harvard Business School class. And at that point, I was inspired, to put it mildly, and very clearly she was much more capable and talented than I was, so I figured there must be lots of other folks like that. But I really think that it's about listening. It's about being willing to listen to someone else's voice and ideas and where they come from. If you have that setting where all sorts of people, including junior, it isn't just about diversity, it's about diversity of age and diversity of position. I always say, most of the right questions come from the junior people in the organization. The answers may not come from there, but the questions do. And I think if you just have that diversity, and it really started probably, I would say, when I first went out. I still went out on my own when I was 28, and it was just more interesting and more capable of hiring a diverse workforce, gender mostly, but of color as well, starting in the 70s, really. And I've just never, I don't know, I think you grew up in a small town in southern Ohio, you're either deeply prejudiced or you're completely, almost unprejudiced.
Jim Wunderman in his remarks was talking about some of the challenges that the Bay Area faces. Yeah. And, we're headquartered here. You've lived here for a very long time. How do you think about some of the unique challenges that the Bay Area and California face today?
Oh, boy. I think the first and foremost, we have to get our community back. It's been rendered a bit, and I think and this evening is a really good start, actually. But I think that the civic-mindedness of the Bay Area has always been very impressive to me, but the opportunity to invest in it and to be active in it was, in a way, shut down for a couple of years. And I think we all need to come back and re-engage. And I see that happening. It's quite exciting, actually. The organizations that are the backbone. I think that a lot of the nonprofits are actually the absolute foundations of the society. And they have to be re-empowered. And they have to feel empowered. And they're coming back. It's very encouraging, ranging from the arts to schools to the community organizations and the health organizations. So I'm encouraged. I think the jury's out. And we've had the cities, and cities without people aren't really very cool. And so we need to bring that back, and we need to all get back and engage in the cities, in the communities that we're in. So I think it's just I think it's individual. I really believe it's individual, but I'm completely optimistic. This will come back.
And lastly, Jim, just tell me how you think about leadership. You've mentioned civic leadership. We've talked about your values and how they're reflected in the bank. How do you think about leadership for this community, and kind of what's your philosophy about that?
I think leadership is it's interesting. Leadership is leadership. It's setting an example. It's setting a bar, but it's also sharing the. It'll sound funny, but sharing the burden, being inclusive and bringing people into leadership, and then also standing back a little bit. I've always been I try to be a stand-back leader in the sense that you set the objectives, set the goals. If you tell someone not what to do, but why to do it, if you set the clarity of why, it's the most powerful three-letter word there is. They will get you there. And so I think leadership is basically the art of bringing out in people things that they didn't even know they could do. And then their pride and their empowerment explode upwards, and then just get out of their way.
Ladies and gentlemen, help me thank the founder and chairman and CEO of First Republic Bank. Congratulations, Jim.
Thank you very much.